Hey everybody, Matt here. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a bean soup. There are some comments on my previous videos regarding my new H&K VP9CC. Some of you wanted to see a tutorial on how to clean and lube it, so that's why it's a bit of a bean soup. Some of you already know how to do this, which is fine. This video is not for you. Now the process is similar but a little bit different than the other VP9s, so I think this video might help some of the people out there do it properly, and we're going to do it according to the H&K manual. Now before we get into it, just a side note here, if you want to pick up these custom grips, I make them myself. You can get them on snakebite-tactical-az.com. Go check them out if you want to. I make them in this rubber texture and a gritty sandpaper, and I use the same material that the other companies use. Mine just have a little bit of flair on them. Also, since I am a micro channel, if you feel so inclined, please subscribe, comment, like, do all the things. That really helps me out. I appreciate it. Enough yapping, let's get into the video. So the H&K manual calls out two different types of cleaning processes. One is called the normal cleaning, which is to be performed after each firing or every 12 months, whichever comes first. And then there's what's called a major cleaning, or a detailed cleaning. This is performed after firing 600 cartridges or when the pistol is exposed to or contaminated with sand, dust, water, especially salt water, or other visible contaminants or foreign matter. Today we're going to go over the normal cleaning in the video, and then at the end of the video I'll go over the differences between normal and major. So the first step we're going to do is release the magazine. Visually inspect the chamber, make sure there's no round in there. Lock back the slide. Rotate the disassembly lever into the downward position. And with the slide release, go ahead and release the slide and pull it straight off. Compress the recoil spring, and that'll come right out. And you can remove the barrel. And for the normal cleaning, this is as far as you need to proceed to break it down. Step one is going to be working on the slide. Gently scrub all internal surfaces of the slide using the nylon toothbrush moistened with cleaning solution. The cleaning solution and oil is completely up to you. There's so many out there. I just have whatever I have lying around. I'm not promoting anything specific, so get what you want. And as far as what they refer to as a nylon toothbrush, I just use one of these nylon brushes. And I did find a cheap cleaning kit. I'll put a link to it in the description and the pinned comment. It's just on Amazon. It's like 13 bucks, but it includes everything you need to do this except for the cleaning solution and the lube. So I'm going to spritz the brush with some cleaning solution, and as it states, gently rub all internal surfaces. I have over 1,000 rounds on my VP9CC now. Over 1,000 flawless rounds, I might add. So it is time for a cleaning. I'm going to do a follow-up video on my thoughts after 1,000 rounds as well, probably in the next couple weeks. But I really love it. Go ahead and add more cleaning solution to your brush if you feel it's necessary. And you really want to attack all the fouling that's in there and debris, especially in these side channels. Next it says remove all loose fouling from all surfaces of the slide using a rag and cotton swab. So I just buy a packet of these microfiber shop towels. They work fantastic. So first what I do is I wipe down all the major surfaces. And I use these pointed tip cotton swabs. These are really useful to get into these little nooks and crannies. These are included in the cleaning kit that I'll link. But you can see they really get in there. Now you do want to be careful when you're digging around here in the internal parts that you don't want to dislodge anything by mistake, like any springs. So you do want to be a little bit gentle. And that's about as far as I'm going to take that cleaning. Next, we're going to work on the recoil spring assembly. Remove all visible fouling using cleaning solution, a nylon toothbrush, or a rag, and cotton swabs. So for this, I just douse it with my cleaning solution. Get it pretty saturated. Let it sit. The barrel, moisten a bronze bore brush with cleaning solution and scrub the bore from the chamber to the muzzle with at least 6 passes. They are very specific. So here is my bore brush with the bronze brush at the end. I'm going to moisten that nice and good. And it does state from chamber to muzzle at least 6 times. Remove the loose fouling from the bore using cleaning patches. So I'm going to remove the bronze brush from the tip. Put on this patch tip. Stick a patch on the end. I'm going to run it through. And we're going to repeat the process until it comes out clean. And we'll do one more for good measure. Clean. Next, it says to gently scrub the exterior of the barrel and locking block with the nylon toothbrush, moistened with cleaning solution. And if you notice, I still have my recoil assembly sitting down there soaking. I'll come back to that here in just a second. Remove all loose fouling from the exterior of the barrel using a rag and cotton swabs. Same as with the slide. And we're going to call the barrel done. Now let's go back to the recoil spring assembly. I'm going to respray it and hit it with the nylon brush. I don't disassemble it for this step. For the normal cleaning, I don't typically feel it's necessary. And we'll wipe it down with my towel. And now we can move on to the frame assembly or the The grip module. Gently scrub surfaces where carbon fouling is present using the nylon toothbrush moistened with cleaning solution. Concentrate on the area normally covered by the slide and the unlock block area that interfaces with the barrel. So I'm going to come and work on the sides first. This is just the order I do it in, and it really doesn't matter as long as you hit everything necessary. Then I'll come up on the top of the rails and the trigger components over here. Then down inside. And then we'll come back here in the back and get the sear. Let the brush do the work for you. You are not trying to aggressively attack it and bend anything or dislodge anything down here. You can see my previous video I posted on how to fully disassemble these if you want. But if you've never worked on an H&K, it is pretty intense. And just like before, use your shop towel. These cotton swabs are with the tip are really handy if you have never used them before. And last up is going to be the magazine. Gently scrub the top of the magazine, concentrating on the follower and feed lips using the nylon toothbrush, moistened with cleaning solution. Remove all loose fouling from all surfaces of the magazine using a rag and cotton swab. Okay, and that is it for a normal cleaning. Now the difference between a normal cleaning and a major cleaning is that a major cleaning is the exact same process as the normal cleaning, except the magazine is disassembled for cleaning, following the instructions and warnings in section 5 of the manual. They're real easy to break down, by the way. All parts should be rinsed with or immersed in cleaning solution and thoroughly scrubbed with a nylon brush. The parts can then be dried using compressed air or a rag and cotton swabs. So that's when you're going to do some deep disassembly and soak all the parts, because as you can see, this is not clean enough to eat off of, and that's not the purpose of a normal cleaning. you are still going to see some buildup. Okay, now let's move on to the lubrication. First, we're going to start with the barrel. Now, when it comes to lubricating firearm parts, there are different degrees at which you want to lubricate. So, for example, do you want a very thin layer of oil on just on the surface? Do you want a little bit more oil on the surface to where if you run your finger on it, you can see it on your finger? Or do you want to completely saturate the part? Unfortunately, there's no technical differences between those other than the descriptors I just gave you. So read the manual, because the manual will call out what needs to be lubricated and to what extent. And this can vary from firearm to firearm and manufacturer to manufacturer. This new VP9CC manual does not state how much oil, but I'm going to err on the side of caution and lubricate everything with a very, very thin layer. So for the barrel, I'm going to put a few drops of oil on the barrel. I usually just kind of rub it on with my finger. Use a cleaning patch and wipe it off. By using a cleaning patch like this, you are going to end up leaving some on the surface, which you can tell by it making it shiny, but when you rub your finger on it, you don't have residual on your finger. So this ensures that you still have a thin layer on there to protect the metal. And then I'll put the barrel back in to the slide as such. Next is going to be lubing the recoil spring assembly. And to do this, to get inside there, what I do is I'll usually put a couple dabs of oil on a different brush from my cleaning brush and get in there between the coils. Then I'll wipe off any remaining. Then I'll put the recoil spring assembly back in place, and when you do this, you do want to make sure that it is fully aligned with the slide and it is not canted off to the side. Otherwise, you're going to have a real hard time getting it back on the grip module, and you can actually bind it on there as well, making it very difficult to get back off. Next, it asks you to oil the slide. So again, I'll just kind of put a few drops on there and rub it around first with my finger on the metal parts. And then I'll use a cleaning patch to wipe off the residual. If you happen to get any oil on the front window of your optic, make sure you wipe that off. Next, we need to come in here and oil the guideways on the slide. The guideways are these little slots on either side. So the way I do that is I'm going to add a drop at the top here at the rear as I have it tilted upward. Let it run down. I'll kind of help it with a swab. Then it asks you to oil the guide rails on the frame, which are going to be here and this little bump here, and then this little bump back there. So I'll just put a little drop on the top and kind of rub it around with my finger. Again, we're not looking for a lot. I put a fairly good amount in the slide, which I'm now going to go back and wipe out any excess. If you find it easier to do this step before assembly of the recoil spring assembly and the barrel, you can do that as well. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. Okay, and the last step, it says to oil the trigger mechanism. However, it doesn't say what part of the trigger mechanism. It does have arrows pointing to like this area, and then kind of like this area, but it's not real descriptive in what it wants you to oil. So what I do is I'll put a small dab of oil on my finger and just kind of run it down in there on the other side of the disconnector, maybe on top, and kind of on top of the sear. Circle around, wipe it off, so I just have that thin film. That's the last step. Now, the manual does not say you have to oil the spring or any other components of the trigger itself. We'll slide the slide back on. Make sure your disassembly lever is still in the downward position before you do this. Lock the slide back. Rotate the disassembly lever into the lock position. Gonna rack it a few times. And with a clean towel, do a final wipe down of all the exterior surfaces. Make sure I don't have any residual oil on there, especially on the grip. That would be bad. Do a function check. Okay, everything is operating smoothly, and that is it for normal cleaning and lubrication of your H&K VP9CC. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you watching. I gotta go. Bye.